Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, I am Cloud Hudson. I'm your meteorologist for the evening, and boy, do I have a show for you tonight. I am so excited. We have got an extreme geomagnetic storm going on. At the same time, we've had some type 1 and type 4 radio emissions from the sun. We've also got some daytime and nighttime radio blackouts. We've also got a solar proton event going on. We're in a minor solar proton storm right now. There are fabulous aurora all over, happening anywhere that there are aurora. I'm going to go ahead and share on screen what I've got. I'm going to go ahead and start with our solar update for today. Let's see. Oh, I can't broadcast somebody else's YouTube. Can I? Oh, no, it'll let me. Okay, cool. I'm going to put this on theater mode. Actually, well, I don't know if it'll do live stream, but we are currently looking at the camera from North Dakota. I'm going to scroll back to, this is what it looked like around sunset. We started to get some good pinks going. Then we've got some nice green coming in a waveform. And then, as you can see in the little preview box, we had banding of green aurora overlapping with red aurora, making that nice purple color. You can see the pattern of the flow of the solar wind incoming, and there are some big bright green spots peaking here. It looks like, oh yeah, they're at timestamp 22:38 in North Dakota time. So about like 10:30, 10:40, we had a really bright streak. It's looking like in most places around the world, this aurora band has peaked around whatever the local time of 10 p.m. is. And then as we go through to live look right now, you see that we are waning just a little bit, but actually we've just peaked back up again. It was waning for a bit, and now we are looking pretty good. There is a lot of light pollution or haze in the air. Maybe that is from all of the volcanoes that have been erupting. There's a lot of particulates in the air, so even if there are no clouds, you might not have clear skies. Clear meaning like there's a lot of particles for light to bounce off of. Let's take a look at, okay, yeah, over here in the NEOC up in Maine, they peaked around a little earlier. They also had some clouds to deal with. So here, I think around here we can see, even though there's a thin layer of stratocumulus clouds, you can really clearly see that green in the background in the clear sky area, and that red color really bleeds through the clouds a lot because those are more in the overhead direction. But at the beginning of the night, they saw some really nice spires. Before the clouds set in, you could really see some great coverage. So I really hope that they keep this feed. As you can see in my little preview window, there was some gorgeous aurora coming through as their night unfolded. But now it is pretty cloudy and pretty dark there. As well as we've also had some great shows in Quebec. In Abitibi, Quebec, there was a lot of cloud cover, but you could still see some great color through the spots in the clouds. Really dark, bright magentas and like hot pink, honestly. And then we also saw this gorgeous mottling of green and purple together as the light show unfolded. And we are starting to get into the peak aurora times for the middle of the United States, the middle of Canada as well. Really, really pretty showing here from Quebec. But I mean, just bright as all get out, very gorgeous. The clouds definitely got in the way, but I think that we are about to get into the peak aurora time for areas that don't have as much cloud cover right now. North Dakota is doing pretty well. I'm going to show GOES satellite right now. So you can see there is a lot of clear sky as we get into the northern plains. And I believe that Washington and Oregon and Montana are going to have some great views as well. Minnesota is also showing some pretty good performance. The University of Minnesota in Duluth has this sky cam that periodically refreshes. And so this isn't a video, this is just a still image of what's going on there. But hopefully they will time lapse those, because they do time lapse the entire day from the previous day. So tomorrow we'll have some great time lapse footage to look at from Duluth. Skunk Bay weather. I don't know if this is live or not, because it looks like the same image. I've refreshed this a couple times. Looks like it keeps being the same image, but yeah, they are at 8:48 p.m. So it's pretty early for this is in, where's this? Skunk Bay is, I think, in Washington. So that is still yet to come. And I am looking at all of the sky cams I can find here. Let's see. Manitoba is still not in sunset time yet. There's still a pretty bright sky over here right now, I think. But Manitoba has been a pretty good station for us recently. So once this goes live, I think we'll have a good view. Now, I don't like that you can see their observatory in here, because that's been throwing off the white balance in their camera recently. But hopefully they will get some awesome footage the way that these other bands have been getting. Let's I kind of want to put I'm going to see if I can get this embed code in as a new source to put in the okay. Is this going to show? Oh no. Let's try. I'm going to try doing different URL of this. Okay, yes, there we go. Okay. So I've got the North Dakota cam on here. I'm going to copy this to all of my options. I'm going to go into and okay. There we go. Alrighty. Now that I've got our Aurora cam up in the background, let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of our weather. Welcome everybody who is watching. We are currently, oh yeah, and you might notice I don't have my glasses on. I was so excited when I got home from work tonight about the geomagnetic storm that I had taken my glasses off outside to look for aurora with my naked eye, and I don't know what I did with them. They were in my hand and then they were just gone. I don't know where I put down my glasses. I was just so excited to get home and look, because look at this. Look at the space weather live. G4, severe geomagnetic storm ongoing. Observed KP index of 8. We actually peaked out at a KP index of 9 tonight. This is all the areas we have strong, moderate, and slight possibilities of seeing aurora. More aurora. Solar wind speed is currently high at 709 kilometers per second and usually sits around 300 as being a little high. We've got a really strong interplanetary magnetic field with a really strong southward component. The disturbance storm time index right now predicts extreme solar conditions, extreme storm conditions. We've had also multiple new X-class flares, and one of them, this X 5.8 that happened just a few hours ago, might be the strongest one that we've seen out of all of these. And we have a type 2 radio emission going on, as well as an S1 minor solar radiation storm, as you can see here on our solar proton flux chart in the middle of the screen. The green line represents the lowest energy level of proton. Blue is the intermediate level of greater than 50 mega electron volts, but less than 100 mega electron volts. And the pink is greater than 100 mega electron volt proton flux units. And this is a really high for these to be peaking out at like what a solar radiation storm usually is for the low level energy. This is a lot of radiation energy. And it's kind of hard to see our SOHO imagery. Earlier today, the SOHO imagery wasn't loading, but you can see kind of some sparkles, or also known as radiation particles. I call them sparkles, but they're technically actually ionizing particles that are hitting the sensor and kind of maxing out the SOHO viewer. Now that we are currently on Space Weather Live, let's just go ahead and start with our space weather. let's look at, we're sitting at pretty high. Let's just look at the chart, because oh my gosh is what I can say. We've got, okay, we got a X 5.89. That is after yesterday we had a X 2.2, and earlier today we had an X 3.8. These are only increasing in strength. That's after the past few days that the X flares that brought on what is currently storming were only at X1 and X2. So we are getting increasing strengths of X-class flares, and it doesn't show signs of stopping, in my opinion. It looks like we are, and in between these X flares, our background noise level is sitting at the M flare level. So not only are we not in C-class flare territory, we are actively hovering around M class as our baseline. So we've been in R1 storm levels for at least 3 days straight. I think 4 days straight. The data here doesn't go that far back, but I'm sure I can find a probability. We've got a 75% chance of more X-class flares. And all of these are coming from region 3664, which has had a wild career as a as a sunspot group during its time on the Earth-facing disk. Look at this. Just in the past 3 days, 4 X-class flares. No, that's even not just 3 days. Past 2 days, 4 X-class flares. That is ridiculous. And let's not forget that there are coronal mass ejections coming with this. Today, on the 10th, we've seen from 32 to 40, we've seen 9 coronal mass ejections, 3 of them with a partial halo, type 2 partial halo classification. So probably having an Earth-directed component to their eruption. Here, there's this is the first one we're seeing. I think these are 3 different shots, 3 different analyses of it. Also, you're seeing the proton storm, the radiation particles in this image as well from Cactus. This was around 8:12 or 7:12, then 8:12, continuing to storm out of this area. This was a pretty extended one. You can see this limb right here, this one, and this one very clearly. This is very clearly oh, look at this double helix spiraling. These whipping up right here. This is what this one is showing. As well as the rest of the explosion is just out there. Let's go for the one at 8:24, also showing different phase of this eruption. Getting, do you see that? Huge releases. That complete halo is, I believe that is a complete halo. That is just gorgeous in the difference imagery. I mean, we're looking at incredible likelihood for great aurora today, and oh my goodness, it's not slowing down. The things that have pushed out these solar storms are not slowing down at all. Let's take a look at see if WSA Enlil has modeled any new bursts. It looks to me like Enlil is behind, because it is just not even modeling. We have not, this has not been updated in spaceweather.com for a while. Let's take a look at the WSA one then, because it does look like this has at least been updated for last night's X3. Let's see. This is showing what we're currently undergoing, and also showing a little bit better of I mean, we're up to 8 or 9 different emissions right now coming back to back This is where we're at right now. We're looking at the turn of UTC of May 10th to May 11th via UTC midnight, really peaking out right here. It's no wonder that we had such a great show in Maine. And our radial velocity, our solar wind speed is so high. We've got all three of these waves of bands here now. And then there's still 2 more to come in the next 2 days. Any of these by themselves would usually cause a stir, but this is times 10. This is like 9 or 10 of them. So I think we're up to 10 different X flares, or major storms to watch out for. And these models aren't made to model how they interact with each other, so there really is no telling how they are going to cancel out with ahead of time, because our models just aren't that advanced yet. But even as we march forward into the 14th and 15th, we are getting yet another little burst of, these are probably the recent type 2 solar emissions. So really extreme solar weather is currently happening and is only forecast to continue happening. This is probably the biggest tonight, and into tomorrow is probably the biggest chunk of it. But we're going to continue to see aftershocks, basically. Let's take a look at what that has meant on the sun, because, as you can see, they have now classified this entire region as 3664. This used to be 3664 and very close to it 3668, but now they have finally analyzed this as all being one big solar region. Let's take a look at how it's evolved, how it's merged. Wow. And you can see there's no wonder why this has been such a productive sunspot group. I mean, look at the outer ring. I think of this as an outflow boundary. This is a huge chunk of the sun. I mean, even these little looking alpha type sunspot groups like up here are like larger than the size of the Earth, much larger. This is probably larger than the size of Jupiter. It's ridiculously large and complex. This is probably the most interesting sunspot group I've observed since I started observing on a daily basis since the beginning of the year. Oh man, and if I don't even look at the colorized version, when we look at the just black and white image, it's almost even more interesting. Let's see. Because it's a slightly easier to see the movement of these different polarized masses. You can see them kind of teasing each other away there. The like repelling like, and the opposites repelling as well. Shoo, buddy. It's gorgeous. It's terrifying, but it's gorgeous. Let's see this in the 304 angstroms wavelength, which is going to show us the filament launches, which there was one. Let's see. It's incredible. That was the filament launch. That was from the connection between these two regions. And then you see the fireworks pop, the paparazzi, another filament launch. more mass ejections just keep coming and filaments keep forming. Honestly, it looks like we're going to get something stretching here and here. We've also got lots of plasma weather in the coronal convection, I guess. You can see the tornadoes down there at the bottom. Lots of arcing and sparking from a bunch of different areas. This is solar. This is getting up there to solar maximum. This is incredible visuals here. Really wish I knew where I took off my glasses, but I think I got home at like 10:30. Yeah, I got home around 10:30, and apparently that is like the peak time for these for at least the aurora viewings, and I'm wondering if maybe that is also meaning that's the peak time for ion precipitation and energy precipitation down to the Earth's surface right now, because I felt very charged up, very active, zone tuned in, alive, vibrant. Let's take a look at the okay, KP index is all the way back up to 8. It had dipped just a little bit to 5 and is now back solidly to a KP index of 8. This is our auroral oval. I mean, look at the hemispheric power. Check that out. I don't think I've ever seen hemispheric power that large. We are well into the 350 plus gigawatt hemispheric power range. And hemispheric power is globally integrated total energy deposition. Now that is how much energy is coming into the globe as a whole, integrated both in the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. And you can see like the southern hemisphere is the lower one and the northern hemisphere is the upper one there. We are in, this is our solar wind for today. We've been, we peaked out, I think, at like 775-ish kilometers per second. Our density today got up to near 32. Let's see. We've got a interplanetary magnetic field strength really high again, up to near 40 nanotesla. We are vacillating between a north and south orientation with the interplanetary magnetic field, but with such a strong southward component earlier, I mean, I feel like we are in training ion precipitation to pair up with our planetary magnetic field. So as we can see here from our European models and our CANMOS, our Canada magnetometer observing system, that is, shoo, buddy, that is a really, really strong magnetary reading. Is that what I mean to say? That's a really strong magnetic field reading. That's what I mean to say, I think. Let's see. Let's look at our KP index. Yeah, today we did reach a KP index of 9 for at least like several hours in a row. We started in the middle of the day today. Let's see. I mean, this is crazy. We're in a G4 severe geomagnetic storm and have been for hours. Let's see. This has been our disturbance storm time index. today. This is how sharp it went. Once we started the storm around 15 UTC and have just plummeted. We are in an extreme storm right now, and it is probably just going to keep going down, or keep getting stronger. I mean, it's a wildly strong geomagnetic storm at the moment. Look at this. Look at this. Off the charts. Off the charts. Incredible. Let's see. That's still not showing anything. We're still not showing anything over in Washington, but we are setting, the sun's setting a little bit. We had some green and pink come in to Minnesota. North Dakota is still going strong, and Maine is dwindling down. So the center, and as is Quebec. So the center, or the peak aurora, is now centered around North Dakota, I would say. Peak aurora is going really strong there. And that is, of course, that's the video that I've got embedded permanently on the stream here. Let's go to, let's briefly check in on what our, let's check in on our volcanoes for today. Go through our regular broadcast, regularly scheduled programming. Let's see. Urte Ale. Ooh, looks like we're getting something on the East African Rift Zone. Mount Ibu in Indonesia. Okay, this might be. Mount Ibu, Indonesia continues to explode. No image with that. Lewitobi has volcanic ash emissions. Here's a satellite image of Fuego putting off some serious particulates. So does Semeru down there in East Java, Indonesia. Santiaguito continues. Well, actually, Santiaguito, the earlier volcanic ash has dissipated. Fuego is putting off a volcanic ash plume moving southwest. Reventador continues to explode, as does Sabancaya. Now, let's take a look at the May 10th reporting. Let's see. Looks like they are saying officially the eruption has ceased as of a drone flight conducted over the Reykjanes Peninsula. The eruption lasted almost 54 days. Very interesting that the eruption has just ceased now that we're getting this big solar storm. I don't know what that's about. Magma continues to accumulate beneath the Svartsengi, so there is a high likelihood that magma will soon recirculate into a new eruption zone. So I'm going to turn that volume down there. This is the Mount Ibu imagery and Lewitobi. Look at all of that blowing offshore. Beautiful. This is a beautiful image of the wind. If you guys can see that they're coming, the winds are coming from the southeast and blowing onshore and picking up particulates as it goes over the island chain, and then blowing cloud condensation nuclei over the very hot ocean waters there, and that's almost immediately creating new clouds. So that's a great image of how clouds form. Merapi beautifully showing up there. And here's an image of Nevado del Ruiz. Pahoehoe type basaltic lava flow in the northern pit crater. And that is in Pahoehoe lava flow is when it's that, like, you can see the ripples sheeting. This this line segment that is a basaltic lava flow. Let's look for, do we have an update on Ertaal? Yes, the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia has been picking up again. A new effusive sequence started on May 5th, commenced with the northern pit crater marked by a robust thermal signature in Landsat 8-9 satellite imagery. This is a new magma batch started to spill out from a sizable hornito traveling towards the north. Molten lava seems to have extended beyond the northern rim of the northern pit crater, forming the lava sheet flow. That's where it's like sheeting over the top. That pohoi type lava flow. A new lava arm started to advance southward at the same time, approaching the western caldera limb. The lava has been oozing out from the particular hornito in the northern crater. So that is this one. So we have more active surface eruption flows in Africa, which is really exciting. That is right here in Ethiopia. Let's turn now to looking at our earthquakes that go along with this. I'm going to start in Africa. There's nothing there. But we do have a mid-Atlantic ridge. No, do we? Do we have a mid-Atlantic ridge eruption today? Maybe. Let's start in the West Pacific. 5.0 to 5.0s off the northern coast of Japan, and those are pretty shallow, a 0 kilometers depth and a 10 kilometers depth. So really intense and probably felt very easily over there. 4.5 off the Bismani Peninsula in Russia, that's southeast of Vilyuchinsk, Russia. Vilyuchinsk, Russia. Okay, that is hard to say. For me. That is at 78 kilometers depth, a pretty deep one there. 4.2 here in the Aleutian Island chain. And a 5.2 up here in northern Siberia. That was at a depth of 0. I don't know why these earthquakes keep cutting out. My feeds keep cutting out. But we have a string of near 5.0 earthquakes here in Indonesia. This is 5.1 at 62, 4.8 at 10, and 4.9 at 61. A 4.9 in the Philippines at 81 kilometers depth. We also had a 2.7 here in northern Australia. 5.6 at 37 and a 4.7 at 81 kilometers depth over here near Papua New Guinea. Most recently, a 4.5 at 10 kilometers depth in Papua New Guinea. And we also have a new deep quake out here in the Tonga Islands region. That is all the way down at 600 kilometers depth. Then a 4.8 over only at 10 kilometers depth. And we've got like kind of ranging off of that. When it'll show me again. Show me the quakes. Show me the money. There we go. Kind of ramping down in depth, but not only in depth, but also in magnitude as we crawl down the New Zealand coastline, starting up at 3.9 at 100 kilometers depth. We slowly inch our way towards the surface with some deep quakes and medium deep quakes, but really that 600 kilometer depth earthquake is our big nasty deep one right now. Oh, and we also had a 3.5 in this same area of Northern Australia where we got that other 2.7 earthquake. A 4.2 in the squarely in the middle of China. I want to say that's in the Himalayas. Might be, not sure which province or anything that is in. Let's see. Nothing in Africa, surprisingly, even though we are seeing activity out of the Urta Ale volcano in the East African Rift Zone. We've got a 5.6 at 0 kilometers depth out here in the middle of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Honestly, almost lined up with our lunar point. So that is interesting. And also a flurry of quakes up here in the, oh, no. Again, I don't know why these get displaced sometimes. I want to say there were quakes. Yes, there were definitely quakes up here in the English Channel area. I guess this is right off the shore of Belgium, I want to say. Which Netherlands. Northwest of Westkapelle, Netherlands. Let's see. That was at 5 kilometers depth. And again, a cluster of more and more quakes here in Greece. Lots of quakes moving into Greece. We've got like 3.6 at 19 kilometers depth, 3.1 at 13. As we even take our magnitudes up, this is a swarm of 2s and greater. Okay. I would really appreciate it if Earthquake 3D would just work for a second. Yeah, because we've got a 4.1 here off the western coast of Greece, as well as these 3.6s on the eastern coast of Greece in the Greece-Turkey region, border region, I guess. And a 3.6 right smack dab in the middle, south of Crete. So then I feel like this also showed some, yeah, up here we are showing some earthquakes near the British Isles, a 3.0 and a 3.2 here. Oh no, these are way far back. Sorry about that. That is, can we, sir, I don't know why this is, okay, there we go. Oh, it's because if I go all the way out, we're at 90 day. Okay, can you not jump around? I'm going to need to have to reinstall. I'm going to have to reinstall Earthquake 3D because it is just freaking out on me all the time. 4.6 at 231 kilometers depth here in Bolivia. That is on the other side of the Earth from our, I mean, it doesn't look like it, but well, let's see. Let's turn off sphere and see where's the opposite of this. I'll turn borders outlines on. Yeah. Opposite of this 4.6 is right near China, right near the south, in the South China Sea. Not sure exactly what this is. I'd say right across from Hong Kong. This is opposite side of the planet from Hong Kong. And we've got a 3.1 here in, oh wait, let me take my magnitudes back down. 3.1 at least in Puerto Rico. We've got a swarm of 3s all throughout central Mexico. These are also moderately deep, not too shallow. They're in the at least 100 kilometer depth range. And we've got, a 1.9 here in southern Indiana. No, this is in Kentucky. a 1.9 at 6 kilometers depth in Kentucky, a couple here in Oklahoma and Texas, and also all across the West. We've got Minnesota, Idaho, Utah, Nevada, and California all showing quakes in the tremor range, and all of them also showing at least a 2. And then as we get up into Alaska, look at this big boy. Look at this big boy. Got a 4.5 in Alaska at, that looks deep, at 94 kilometers depth. And that kind of matches this 4.2 and 4.5 along the Aleutian Island chain that are all at around 100-ish kilometers depth. So a really active day. Hawaii, not quite as active as we saw a few weeks ago, but still pretty active. I find it really notable that we had a 2.4 up here near the British Isles too. That's really interesting. And very, very deep quakes. Lots of energy coming into and out of the plate. Let's go now to look at our weather, our terrestrial weather. And for once, we don't have anything too major to talk about when it comes to terrestrial atmospheric weather in the US. Welcome, folks. If y'all are just tuning in, you can join us in the chat, introduce yourselves. Glad to see you all here. All right. We are going through our weather that isn't space weather right now because we started off talking about a lot of space weather, and oh, my Radar Omega is crashing. Let me restart Radar Omega for you. Well, while we're restarting Radar Omega, I'm going to show you our GOES satellite imagery. So you can see that our tropical jet is pretty zonal in flow right now. We're getting some fish storms out here in the Atlantic. As you can see, this little convection popping up, but those are just storms for the fishermen and the fishes. This is why we had some cloud cover for aurora chasers in New England today. Kind of not the best conditions. It's not the worst, but not the best conditions for seeing aurora in Maine right now, as well as same in Quebec. But as we move into the Northern Plains peak times, we are looking really clear view for much of the Midwest. So anywhere that you are away from the sky glow, away from the light pollution, and possibly out west here, you are probably going to have some great aurora to view right now. So let's check on if any of our other cameras are looking good right now. Minnesota's still looking really great. Oh, there's some purple, pink, and green all banding together here. I cannot wait to see the time lapse from this night from the University of Minnesota there. Let's check out if anything has started in Skunk Bay yet. No, sun is still setting. So we are just waiting for that Pacific coast to start. All right, and we are getting there in Manitoba. Let's see. I think that is all we're looking for right now. Let's look back at GOES. Thankfully, everybody's gotten a bit of a break from the severe weather today. There were only a few hazards. Let's let's see, only special marine warnings and like 3 special weather statements down here in Florida. That is for these little pop-up storms. These are gusty winds up to 50 miles per hour. And here off the coast of Chicago and Kenosha, Wisconsin, we are looking at special marine warnings, which is usually that there are gale force winds on the water. So, also Chicago did see some northern lights today, even though they have really heavy light pollution. So that is really cool to see. Let's take a look at our radar. They are seeing some cloud cover, some convection at the moment, so it's not the best viewing conditions for Chicago right now, but they could have seen it if there were better conditions. Let's take a look at these severe storms popping up in Ocala and the Villages, Bellevue, down here in central Florida. Let's see, that would be an isolated thunderstorm popping up from, oh wait, did I switch us back to, I didn't switch us back to main radar Omega. Let's see our single site radar near here. No, Jacksonville's probably going to be better. Yeah, that's looking very electric. I mean, this is an area where we wouldn't see the aurora anyway, but it is still a pop-up isolated thunder shower in peak severe weather season. So we do want to keep an eye on this. It's got some pretty high DBZ readings. So you are probably looking at a very electrically active storm with really high winds down here in Ocala, Florida. Headed for Daytona Beach. No, it looks like it's going to head for Deltona and probably through Orlando towards Cape Canaveral and Palm Beach. That's not picking it up very well. Yeah, that's only a short radar throw. Palm Bay, not Palm Beach, excuse me. Yeah, it looks nasty, but not terrible. Not the worst Florida can do for Florida weather. This is probably just like an overnight thunder shower for you guys. Pretty typical. Oh, I want to do. Okay. And then as we go through, we've got some pop-up showers out here in New Mexico and Colorado as well. But then when we look back at satellite, we are looking at some, let me go back to GeoColor. We're looking at pretty clear skies across much of the upper plains, the northern plains. So this is probably getting some great aurora views tonight. And as the sun sets proper in Washington, I bet that we're going to see some great footage out of Skunk Bay here. But we are still waiting for that sun to set there. Minnesota, let's check back on Minnesota's cameras. Oh, wait, I didn't switch back to showing y'all. All right. Oh, that is beautiful. We are just seeing more and more gorgeous imagery from this, from the Chickawauk Museum and Nature Center in Minnesota. Back to North Dakota, also showing some beautiful spikes and spires. Our NEOC back in Maine has dwindled down to a dim green glow, as has our Abitibi Quebec camera, both of which had great views earlier today other than their slight cloud cover. But as we move into the peak times for North Dakota, Manitoba, Vancouver even, probably going to see some Northern Lights in Vancouver. So it'd be really cool if y'all could anywhere in British Columbia. Do I have a British Columbia? No, there's not one on this site, but I'm sure somebody's streaming from BC right now. Let's see. Alaska is also probably gonna. Oh, yay! We are finally starting to get some aurora here in Manitoba, so that's exciting. That is going to only pick up as we get closer to their time of 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. Let's take a look at our magnetometers in Canada again. Yeah, I mean, it's still looking really strong here in Canada. You can see there is, so this is what's showing the slight an offset in time of when there's the highest magnetic field strengths. And these are, I believe, ordered from the east to west or north to south. I don't remember. Looks like it might be north to south. But let's see. Gorgeous, gorgeous. We're seeing, I mean, this looks, it doesn't look like much now, but this is going to be something very exciting shortly. It's a really cool view here from Minnesota and North Dakota. Oh man, look at this from North Dakota now. Gorgeous, gorgeous saturation. Those are looking like UV colors, honestly. Let's see. What next? Let's go to look at if our Schumann resonance data is up again. Last night, our Schumann resonance data was down for site maintenance. So this is showing us what's happening in Tomsk, Russia. It's currently daytime over there. All right, and this was what we missed yesterday on the 9th. There were a few discrete power bursts. I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish vertical power bursts there. And then a big boost to mode 1 right around the turning point from 9 to 10, from May 9th to May 10th. Then throughout the day on the 10th, we also had some discrete power bursts and more powering up of modes 1 and 2. I guess yesterday had modes 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, and 4 all get some bursts, but and there were also some discrete bursts in mode 4, which is interesting. We're also peeking into above mode 4 into this, like, I guess we would call it mode 5, but it's not, we don't really measure a mode 5. But there is an expansion and a little brightness around between 32 and 36. Let's see. Let's take a look at our amplitudes with this. Okay, yeah, so on the 9th, we had some really big power bursts noted in very short intervals, like a lot of power density in very short amount of time. So not a whole lot of area under the curve, not a whole long stretch out of power, but still some really good power bursts. Also showing that in the area where there were those little whiteout conditions, peak, of course, as we saw in mode 1. And then this is our energy incoming on the 10th. So this is all the precipitation from the ionosphere down to the ground. This is what's getting down to us on the ground from what's charging in from the outside. And these big solar storms actually kind of decharge the ionosphere, so there's not as much energy to put into the ground from here. That also means with them getting decharged, that means that we're kind of stripped of our protection. So there might be a little bit more room for radiation to get in. I'm just speculating on the effects of that, though. Frequencies are looking pretty high throughout this, except for when we got those power bursts, they decrease, which makes sense. When there's higher power coming in, our frequencies get lower. And of course, our quality factor, our Q factor, is really showing some interesting spikes in modes 2 and 3. And mode 4 is on its own little journey here. So that's our look at the Schumann resonances today. I expect that we will have some other peaks coming up soon. Let's go back to our space weather. I know we've already talked about it quite a bit today, but we had a lot of coronal mass ejections. We have extreme solar radiation storms, geomagnetic storms, proton storms, very high solar wind, very high proton density, or plasma density, excuse me, and we just keep getting more and more X-ray flares, X-class X-ray flux flares. Our solar protons are up and continuing to tick up. I don't see this going down anytime soon. We're probably going to stay in a radiation storm for the next few days, at least. And we just got this X 5.89. We're also in a radio emission event right now. Oh, actually, maybe the radio emissions stopped. But yeah, check this out. Look at our X-ray flux. Incredibly high X-ray flux today. Spaceweatherlive.com might be having some issues because they probably got a lot of traffic right now. Because we have a severe geomagnetic storm with a KP index of 8. Yeah, this was just a few hours ago. We peaked out at an X 5.89, which is the strongest of these most recent peaks. On this 3-day map, we are seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 X-ray bursts, X-class X-ray flares in 3 days, and that's not even the ones that we're feeling right now. The ones we're feeling right now are from like a few days ago, for like 4 or 5 days ago. So really exciting. Region 3664 has been very good to us, and by very good to us, I mean very exciting for space weather enthusiasts, but kind of scary. As we watch our webcams, some places have started showing aurora even as the sun hasn't set yet. So it'll be interesting to see when we get the beginning of that. Really cool visuals. I like these 360 sky views from Minnesota. And North Dakota also still going strong. I think this might be the winner of the hottest Northern Lights stream of the night. This has been incredible. There's about 2,000 people watching it right now. And Maine and Quebec did get some pretty good aurora, and they are both now just in the mildly green-blue range. Yeah, incredible stuff. Let's go look at our planetary weather right now. Okay. Oh, great. I've always wanted a t-shirt with abs on it. Maybe I should I get the wormhole thing or the t-shirt with abs? And then I never have to work out. Okay, our moon just crossed from Gemini into Cancer. We've got Pluto at 2 degrees of Aquarius retrograde. That is kind of within a 5-degree orb of trine to Jupiter, but Jupiter is still in Taurus, so I'm not going to call this a trine until Jupiter moves into Gemini in Gemini season. Our Mercury Chiron conjunction is separating now. We're in our last few days of this being in conjunction. Venus is moving ever steadily towards Venus and the Sun are moving ever steadily towards where Jupiter and Uranus conjoined on April 20th of this year. And you see that the Sun is flanked on either side evenly by Venus and Jupiter. It is 6 degrees from either planet. So all of this solar activity is happening perfectly squarely between the two benefic planets of Venus and Jupiter. And I really like that symbolism for this being a very beneficial solar storm. I think this is going to be good for the planet. Since the sun is being held up, propped up on either side by such beautiful, benefic, lucky, flowing, abundant energy planets. As the moon moves through Cancer, it's going to move into a square with Mars in Aries. So that is Venus in Taurus, Venus ruling Taurus, the moon in Cancer, the moon ruling Cancer, and Mars in Aries with the Mars ruling Aries. And also, if you go by modern planetary rulers, we do have Neptune in Pisces ruling Pisces. So we've got a lot of very happy signs with their rulers in their home signs right now. And I'd say that makes the condition of Pluto in Aquarius all the more, I don't want to say debilitated because that is a technical term for something else, but Pluto in Aquarius right now is the only planet that is not in a sign that currently contains its ruler. Pisces, Aries, Taurus, and Cancer are all sitting pretty with their ruler in the sign. So I believe that this is good for maybe staving off a little bit of the Pluto and Aquarius story for a second. Pluto and Aquarius is also the only retrograde planet at this time. So I think that means I wouldn't be surprised if this huge geomagnetic storm did in fact have an impact on a slight impact on our electrical grid and radio communications. I mean, it's obviously having an impact on radio communications already. We're in some radio blackout phases right now. But I think that this might indicate some opportune conditions for electronics to, and computers specifically, to be vulnerable to geomagnetic storms. I'm not saying this is, I don't like the doom and gloom narrative that people put out about possible impacts of geomagnetic storms on the grid, but I do think that this is a time that might put us a little bit back to basics, or at least be a wake-up call, or at least bring to public attention our modern dependence on electronics and the way that those are actually very vulnerable to conditions outside of the planet. And speaking of planets, we are in a Venus day. We started this broadcast in a Venus hour. Actually, we started this broadcast before a Venus hour. We started this broadcast in a Jupiter hour. A Sun hour. Started the broadcast in a Venus day, Sun hour. Had all of Venus day, Venus hour contained in this broadcast, and we are now in a Venus day and a Mercury hour. So, with that, I am going to go ahead and get into our cosmic weather. I want to go. I kind of want to leave this on a good sky cam. Let's see who's got the best camera right now. See if anybody's looking strong. Oh, that's weird. This went back to zeroed out the bad. Okay. Whoever's in control of the direction of that Manitoba camera is messing up. Beautiful imagery out of Minnesota. I can't wait to see their time lapse of tonight. Yeah, I think I am just going to I'm just going to put this larger. No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to leave it on. I'll leave it on North Dakota right now. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Ooh, we can see a little plane going by too. Let's see. Let's go to, I'm going to make this dual. Yeah. Oh, I'm freezing my OBS. Okay, there we go. Okay. There we go. All right. Let's get a little reading of our cosmic weather while we're taking a look at. Oh, I can't. I gotta have this window active for it to stay loaded. Okay. Okay. For the liminal space deck, what is a reading of the cosmic weather, current cosmic weather conditions? What are the vibes coming in from the cosmos beyond what we can see with satellites, telescopes, and our current physical means of perception? Okay. The blank at the crossroads. That is what this is showing, the blank at the crossroads. It's always kind of hard to figure out which part of the interpretation booklet they're going to alphabetize this into. I think it's just going to be under crossroads. Nope. It's at the beginning for blank. The blank at the crossroads. A decision needs to be made. There is no concept of good or bad, right or wrong at the crossroads. Just you and a choice. Perhaps it is better to ask for forgiveness than permission, but requiring neither is best. Make a better deal this time. We are at the crossroads there. Let's see what this is going to do when we take into account the tarot. Maybe this is showing us all the different options. Okay, really jumped out there. We got the moon in reverse. Oh, wait. Yeah, the moon in reverse. So, the moon in reverse. I'm actually feeling that I'm going to look this up. I'm going to go to the this one. So the moon is all about to me, it's Pisces. It's about our psychic, internal, watery nature. It's also got a scorpion on it, so there can be some scorpionic qualities to it. This is different than the star, which is more Pleiadian and Aquarian. The moon is also kind of a false light because it's reflecting the sun's light instead of emanating its own light. So it can mean illusions, fears, scary stuff that goes bump in the night. But the moon reverse can mean intuition, truth, bravery, reason, motivation, tackling things head on. Let's see. This is probably a clarity, a clarifying, maybe a clarity of the waters, like when Simba is looking in the water and sees Mufasa as himself in his mirror. Like, to me, I feel like we're at the crossroads, and we have been before, but this time we get it. We get why we're having to make the same decision again, and perhaps we can make the clearer decision this time. Yeah, this one really puts the moon below and the water above, which is, yeah, very representative to me of putting the body as the base, the moon as the base, and the emotions as our clarity up top. Maybe overcoming fear, overcoming illusion, overcoming some narratives that we've given ourselves for a long time. We're at a crossroads where we can go back to choosing to be under our previous misguided conceptions of the world, and of ourselves, I think. But we have the option this time to not go with the false self, to go with the real self. Let's get affirmation card for this. All right, something to go with the moon reversed and the blank at the crossroads for our current planetary weather. This is a huge opportunity to timeline jump. I feel like it's an opportunity to shift into the timeline that maybe we forgot to shift into previously or didn't think we deserved to shift into previously. Something like that. We are all working towards the same goal, joy. Whether it seems like it or not, you are all working toward the same ultimate goal of joy. You are just approaching things in different ways, and all of it is working. It's got a moon, somebody at night on a hill in the middle of a meadow under a crescent moon. I think that's beautiful. Actually, look at this. All three of the cards we pulled tonight contain a moon. Let's show you. Got the moon on this one of we are all working towards the same end goal, joy. The moon on this one of the moon itself, the tarot card. And on the crossroads card, we have a moon up here in the starry night sky. So really, really beautiful. Let me get the white balance right on that one. Really beautiful lunar cards tonight. We're in the moon in Cancer. The moon is in Cancer, and we just drew 3 cards with crescent moons on them. And there's a crescent moon outside, a waxing crescent moon outside right now. So this is the initiatory phases of this next moon cycle. This is also our first moon cycle after the eclipse season that we just got out of in Aries season. So this is feeling like we really have the opportunity to choose the joyful path instead of the one that dwells in fear and darkness. Right now, we have the opportunity to choose joy, to choose life, to choose the best opportunities that, these timelines have given us. We have the opportunity to, again, even if you feel like you might have fucked up a choice before, you have the opportunity to do it again. Do it right this time. To do it not just right like there's a right or wrong. There is no right or wrong, but to do it to go forward and seek joy in a more embodied form. The embodiment coming from the lunar imagery for me. Embodying your emotions and really using your body as a roadmap, crossroads roadmap. Your body is the roadmap for how to seek joy and move towards the correct goal. Everyone is working towards that same goal of ultimate divine joy, but we have to do different things from each other. That's the reason that we were made differently. So even if somebody looks like they are not doing the right thing, or it looks like they're not seeking joy for them, they are on their path as well. Just because, again, just like the crossroads, just because you are going one way at the crossroads and that's the right direction for you doesn't mean that somebody else going a different way at the crossroads isn't right for them. You're not literally all on the same path, but not everybody needs to be on the same path, or else we would have a traffic jam. We need everybody to be on the right path for them. Really cool stuff there. I just want to take a look at our cameras one more time before we close out, see if Skunk Bay is going to show us anything yet. Not really. Still not quite. The sun still quite hasn't gotten out of view enough over on the West Coast to see the aurora yet. But Minnesota is looking really beautiful as ever. North Dakota is looking really strong as well still. Our Maine and Quebec cameras are petering out, kind of. Though you can see peeking through the clouds here, some bright green still showing. Okay, yeah, and they have ended the stream in Maine. North Dakota still looks really good. Go follow North Dakota dual aurora cameras if you want to check it out. And also, if you think that you can't see aurora where you are, try longer exposure time. And even though your naked eye won't be able to see it, maybe your camera eye can see it. Let's see. Yeah. Still looking at not as optimal conditions on the West Coast right now, but it'll be getting there. Again, stay hydrated, stay well, get a lot of rest. I'd say increase your iodine intake to counteract the radiation storms. I know it's not nuclear radiation, but it's the same ionizing. A proton storm from the sun is nowhere near what a nuclear fallout would be. But there is the same physical mechanism at work of enough high energy protons to knock out some electrons and ionize elements in your body. And the iodine in your thyroid is one of the first elements to become ionized. And that is why you need to keep your seaweed intake up. That's what I think. My personal guidance, my personal intuition guidance has been that you should eat more seaweed salad during a proton storm. But that is, again, just my intuitive guidance. So really gorgeous area. Especially if you are, what some people are saying in the chat on this other stream, if you are only seeing a bright sky that looks pale gray, maybe that is from so much light interfering with each other, with everything. So many different colors of light interfering with each other that it all looks like a neutral wash of just a little bit brighter sky. So maybe you are seeing the northern lights if you see a sky that looks maybe as bright as a full moon night sky should be, but there's only a crescent moon out. So technically you are seeing it. If you think that you're just seeing too much sky glow, you are probably actually seeing the northern lights. It's just not as defined as it would be at a more northern latitude. So is that where I want to leave it today? I think so. Again, sorry if I look a little weird without my glasses on. And by look a little weird, I also mean what I am seeing out of the world is weird because I just got so excited tonight to get out of my work clothes and see the solar storms that I threw my glasses off and I don't know where they went. I was just so excited to take a look at the solar storm that my glasses were just, I couldn't be bothered to figure out where they went. And if you're just getting here, we had a really interesting, pretty cosmic weather reading that included 3 different cards that include a crescent moon on them. So, gorgeous opportunity to go out there and reflect on your natural lunar state. And I think I'm actually going to go outside and do that right now. So remember to ground yourself. Remember to drink lots of water, eat lots of fruits and veggies, get a lot of sleep, and take care of your body. Pay attention to your dreams right now, too, because there is a lot of information coming in the dream space at the moment. So have a great evening, everyone. I love you very much, and I will see you tomorrow night. Goodbye.